Morning. It's with a heavy heart that we say all of us in the Newhouse School have lost our beloved dean. Lorraine Branham passed away yesterday after her brave fight against cancer.
Syracuse University has planned a vigil for her today at 3 p.m. in Hendricks Chapel. We'll gather to celebrate the life of a distinguished journalist and an incredible leader.
We want to dedicate our show this morning to the woman who made all of our dreams flourish, Dean Lorraine Branham.
Good morning, I'm Ashton Hiron. Thanks for joining us on Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Colin Watson. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our first half hour. DPS has reached out to students to promote safe practices when using ride-sharing apps like Uber and Lyft. Our Kayla Burton will tell us what you need to know the next time you request a ride.
And Olivia Proyer will be live in the studio with a student brand representative. They will tell us what it's like to bring big brands to our campus community.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Our top story this hour, students who live off campus are getting a chance to weigh in on how the university can improve safety in university neighborhoods.
Our Alexandria Bennett spoke with students in DPS. She joins us live now with the story.
You can let your opinion be known by taking part in a recent off-campus safety survey that was emailed to students at the start of last week. I got a chance to speak with some of the students about their concerns. Graduate student Stevie Jones admits she sometimes is concerned when she receives emails about crimes from campus police. She has noticed DPS is starting to patrol more often around her apartment, but says she overall isn't concerned about her own safety.
A lot of times I am walking or catching the shuttle, but I still feel safe enough to do so.
Some students say safety is about looking out for each other too, which can help put everyone at ease.
Whether that's precautionary stuff such as letting people know where you're going, traveling with a friend, or just actionary stuff such as like watching the routes you're walking, making sure you're staying under lights.
The purpose of the survey on off-campus safety is for the university administration to gather input from students, so it's important that they participate.
If we don't respond back when they're asking questions about what they can do better, then they can't do better, and then we don't really have the ability to complain and say that we don't feel safe on campus.
There's a bit of a challenge when it comes to DPS being able to impact and influence off-campus safety. It all comes down to jurisdiction, which equals who has the power to make legal decisions.
So when it's the off-campus neighborhood, we do some patrols in those neighborhoods to be a deterrent to crime, and we can stop in the event that there's a crime in progress and act, but we can't respond to calls for service for students that are the victims of crime. That has to be the Syracuse Police Department.
Now, the survey is still available, so even if you're annoyed with the constant email notifications we receive as students, just take a few minutes and let your voice be heard to help create a safer place for us all. Reporting live, I'm Alexandria Bennett from Mornings on the Hill.
Thanks, Alexandria. Well, it's a beautiful morning outside. Let's take a look at today's weather.
Abigail Friedman is live out on the University Ave to tell us what to expect. Abby?
Good morning, guys. It definitely feels like spring has sprung out here. Take a look. It's a gorgeous sunshiny day. Some of the snow has melted. Actually, a lot of it has. And I mean, it's just great. I don't know about you, but I'm boycotting my jacket because I am frankly just sick of it. It's going to be shorts and flip-flops from here on out for me. Let's take a look at the day planner to see if I'm going to freeze. Yep, kind of looks like it. All right, so it's not exactly beach weather, but it's better than a few weeks ago. That spring warm-up is slow and steady. Highs this morning while you're heading out the door by late this morning around lunchtime. We'll be at around 47, 37 earlier this morning, 47 again around midday. And hey, that's almost 50 degrees. Maybe if you stand in the sun, you'll feel a couple degrees warmer. Later on in the evening, we'll drop down a few more to 45, and then later tonight back down to 36 degrees. We've got a low chance of rain all day. There is a 20% chance around the midday, but look for the rest of the day. It looks like we are going to be pretty clear. So maybe you're still gonna need a jacket. I don't know about you, but like I'm just not gonna wear mine. I'd rather be cold. Stay tuned until 10:30. We'll give you the full weekend forecast. And hey, I think it's gonna be a little warmer. Guys, back to you in the studio.
It looks promising out there, Abby. Libraries are often used for reading and studying, but at Bird Library, that concept was turned upside down with an event called the Living Library.
This event was created 6 years ago. This year, the name was changed from Human Library to Living Library. The living books are actually people.
Event organizer and lead librarian Abby Kasowitz-Shea says there is more to the event than meets the eye.
What it is, but once people really understand that it's about conversations and it's about learning about other people and learning something new, people are very excited about it.
So instead of renting out books, attendees take out people. That person comes out and shares their story.
Kasowitz-Shea hopes that after attending the event, people will leave more informed about the struggles that others face. And as the semester winds down, more construction comes up in what the university calls an effort to enhance the student experience. Next month, the Shine Student Center will be undergoing renovations.
The renovation will include new spaces for students to meet and gather. Facilities will be updated, and the most exciting addition for some students, different food options. Offices in Shine will be relocated during the renovations. Those can be found on the SU News page.
And welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. Public safety is warning students to be cautious while using ride-sharing apps.
Our Kayla Burton joins us live in studio to tell us more about a tragedy that has influenced this conversation.
Uber, Lyft, and other transportation services are very popular ride-sharing apps on college campuses. Syracuse Public Safety Department wants to make sure people keep a few things in mind when using these apps.
With more than 22,000 students attending Syracuse University, many are traveling to all sorts of places, some without cars. One popular way that students get around is with using this app, also known as Uber.
Just ahead, make a right turn on Irving Avenue.
Uber driving has been a popular app that many use to travel to different places. This app has made it easy for people to get the ride they need within minutes. And despite its convenience, some have their concerns.
It could be dangerous. I mean, you're in somebody's car. They know, like, if they're taking you home, like, they kind of know, like, where you live and, like, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit weird to think about, and it's kind of crazy to think about, but it's just kind of, like, the truth of, like, the situation. And not everybody's bad, obviously, but there are people like that who could try to, like, take advantage of that kind of thing.
Jackson and other students have a safer strategy when taking an Uber.
Many say that it is safer to get into an Uber with other people than riding alone.
The Department of Public Safety recently sent an email to students at SU sharing safety tips when taking transportation services. And for some students who use Uber, having personal requirements is always a factor.
In Syracuse, I would always prefer to take an Uber with someone, for sure. Unless it's daylight and unless I know exactly where I'm going and it's not that far. Time of day, I probably wouldn't take an Uber past, like, by myself, I wouldn't want to take an Uber past, like, 9:30.
Public safety says applying these safety rules should only increase your experience with Uber.
Other tips like checking the details and destination with your Uber driver or sharing your trip status with a friend or family member will help. But mainly, simply using common sense. If something doesn't feel right or it doesn't hurt to ask or to wait outside and to get another Uber. Reporting live from the studio, I'm Kayla Burton for Mornings on the Hill.
Staying safe is so important. Thanks for that, Kayla. Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill, women in sports media came to Newhouse to share their experiences with finding success in a male-dominated field.
Have you probably do it like more
Also coming up, many of us have heard of the brand rep positions, but what exactly is a rep and how do you become one? Stay with us for those stories and much more here on Mornings on the Hill.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. There are many ways you can be involved in the community, but students and faculty at Eggers Hall are investing their time into the refugee community. Here in Syracuse Lutheran Chaplain, Gail Rena is encouraging others to get involved too. The purpose of the meeting was to increase people's knowledge of the refugee community.
The first step is outlining the different
enriched by the cultural experience that they will have, and they will learn a lot about themselves, and they will learn a lot about the world.
Police continue to investigate what was behind a stray bullet that struck SUNY ESF's Centennial Hall over the weekend. Authorities believe the bullet was fired from a car on I-81. They don't believe anyone in the dorm was the target.
The stray bullet went through a window of the residence hall and was found in the room of an ESF student. There are no suspects at this time. The Syracuse Police Department and ESF Police Department are working together on the investigation.
More women continue to make their way into the sports media field.
And the Newhouse School is doing its part to try and get more of them in the leadership positions.
Alums Alexa Ainsworth, Marissa Boyjan, and Elise Noonan made their way back to the Newhouse School as part of the Newhouse Sports Media Center's A Diverse Playing Field event.
The members of NBC Sports Group met with current aspiring sportscasters to discuss the importance of being perseverant and thinking one step ahead when pursuing a job in the field. The woman emphasized on the willingness to be available and personable as good traits to have.
Just being genuine and like going with your own style and not thinking that you have to be some like image of what you think that role is, and just like going with what you know. My seniors?
The graduates also said the media needs women who support other women and that men need to be part of the inclusivity conversations.
Good morning, I'm Fernando Garcia-Franceschini, and this is your Orange Bus Report, what's trending here on campus on social media. Today, we will be remembering the life of Dean Lorraine Branham, who was a big supporter of our show Mornings on the Hill. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to meet her, but let's hear from people who were able to. Here we have Jessica Mendelson, who says, "Such sad news. Dean Branham allowed me to tailor my education in order to take advantage of all that Newhouse had to offer. She was a great educator and advocated for student success. She will be missed." Right down here, we have Jamie Zaslav. He posted a picture with Dean Branham in what appears to be convocation. He says, "Honored to have been advised and guided by Dean Lorraine Branham during my time at Newhouse. You will be greatly missed." Up here, we have another photo from Anthony Calhoun. He says, "My heart aches of the loss of my dear friend, Dean Lorraine Branham of Newhouse. I'll never forget hosting her at #ColtsGame. She had an incredible impact on me and my Newhouse family. Lorraine dedicated her life to helping others. What an amazing woman." Down here, we have Kate Holloway. She says, "Sad to hear about the passing of Dean Lorraine Branham. She was a great leader, and I'm grateful to have been at Newhouse the first year she took over. Dean Branham was dean here at the Newhouse School for over 10 years. Steve Pike says, "Hearts are heavy today at Newhouse." This was yesterday when the news, when everyone found out about her death. Dean Lorraine Branham loved this school and our students. We will carry on the same because she wouldn't have it any other way. But I will greatly miss her amazing energy and encouragement." And finally, we have another picture here from Steve and Emily Davis talking about how Dean Branham was not only a doer, but she was also a supporter. She supported a lot of people here at the Newhouse School to pursue their dreams. And for Mornings on the Hill, this is our Orange Bus for today. I'm Fernando Garcia-Franceschini.
Scrolling through the Kardashian sisters' Instagrams, you're bound to find posts that promote products. Hundreds of famous faces use their Instagrams to advertise too. And now that type of post is coming a little closer to home.
Promotions are popping up on your friends' personal pages just like celebrities. Olivia Proya is live in studio this morning with Emma Ryan, who's here to explain why your Instagram feed is changing.
That's right, Kylan and Ashton. Companies are now relying on college students to advertise on Instagram for them. It's called being a brand representative. I'm joined by Emma Ryan, who's going to explain exactly what that little title entails. She's a rep for Rent the Runway, which is an online service that rents out designer clothes and accessories. So Emma, what exactly does being a brand representative mean?
You can either be paid or receive kind of free things from the service as a college student normally. And what you do is for example, I'm a campus coordinator, so I coordinate a whole team of representatives that post on their social media, plan events, and handle kind of bringing that brand to campus more than anything else.
So basically, you're paid or sent free clothes in exchange for posting about it on social media.
Exactly. So it gives you a great opportunity to build your skills as well as get some fun free perks while you're helping that brand kind of expand beyond its regular type of situation.
How do you get that gig?
For me, I was recommended, but you can normally go through an application. Some people are found based on their Instagram aesthetic. It depends on kind of what you see and do.
So as a college student, we all know it's unbelievably hard to get some extra cash or even to have extra money to spend on clothes. So how has being a brand representative helped you?
Well, aside from the perks of the free clothes, I mean, it's amazing. I have told you stories of the amazing clothes that I get to wear just for free because of posting a couple of things on my Instagram, which seems like no price to pay. You get to actually deal with a lot of people from corporate, and it helps you to kind of expand beyond, your typical on-campus job as well.
So aside from being a brand representative, do these companies offer any other opportunities for college students?
They offer a lot of internship opportunities after school ends, and they're also now doing a student discount for the membership because Rent the Runway can be a little expensive because it is designer. It's $67 a month for 4 pieces, and it's phenomenal. I would highly recommend it to anyone, and it's sustainable fashion, so you don't even need to worry about contributing to environmental problems.
So do you have like a boss that oversees you and monitors how much you post? Is there like a requirement?
So I oversee everyone on this campus, which is kind of weird, but there is a person, of course, from the actual HQ who's in charge of me. And she kind of checks in with us once a month. We send her full-on reports of like tracking and stuff. But it's really up to us and up to any campus how they want to run their own structure. And that's just for our program, but other people run differently. So that's basically it.
Do you know, so those other programs, they run basically, some pay students and some just offer perks?
So my friend was a representative for a dating app last semester, and she was paid like bi-monthly basically, and they would just send her like a budget, and they'd be like, okay, use this much for events, and then here's your stipend. So it depends on what really you work for, but she was also found on Instagram. So it completely, everyone runs differently, but whether you're getting free clothes or free service perks or getting paid, it's a phenomenal opportunity no matter what.
Well, thank you so much, Emma, for joining us. And for Mornings on the Hill, I'm Olivia Proya. Still to come here, our reporter Sam Carter will show us a group of engineering students who have taken this to the skies with their latest work. Stay with us, that story and more just ahead.
Thanks for staying with us. As a college student, had you ever hoped you'd get a chance to apply what you've learned in class to the real world?
I know I have. Well, now a team of engineering students is doing just that by creating a new drone accessory. Our Sam Carter is live in studio with more.
Drones are a hot topic. From surveillance to surveying, they seem to be all over the place. Now, one group on campus is using what they've learned in class to help with drones, keep drones in the air longer. For many students at SU, connecting what they're learning in the classroom with real-world applications can be difficult. But for one group of engineering students, that's not an issue. Together, they're working with a private company to design a brand new drone tether. Senior mechanical engineering major Veronica Diaz-Lafferty explains just what that is.
That will reel in a cable that is able to connect and disconnect from a drone with many different applications.
The students are involved in all aspects of the project, from design to machining and fabrication of the parts of the tether, all the way to the electrical work.
The ability to work through the problems that we have, to just that little background knowledge has helped put this together immensely.
And although these students know they have a ton of work ahead of them, Diaz-Lafferty says she has the right people beside her.
Working with a really great team. Everybody on our team is really, we mesh quite well together, so that's great.
Just a quick update on that story. Although the team doesn't yet have a working prototype, they're expected to have one by the end of the month. I'm Sam Carter reporting live from Mornings on the Hill. Let's get back to you, Ashton and Kylan.
Thanks so much, Sam. Well, that will do it for us this morning. I'm Ashton Hiron. Thanks for watching us, Orange Nation.
And I'm Colin Watson. Stay tuned. Mornings on the Hill continues right after this break.
Good morning, I'm Gilad Malamed. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Danielle Bullock. Here's some look at the stories we'll be talking about on our second half of our hour.
About walking home late at night, DPS is beefing up security escorts on campus. Reporter Michelle Houston has the story.
The streets around campus are getting a facelift. Find out about city plans for sidewalk improvements and new bike lanes near SU.
And students on campus are coming together to raise awareness about sexual assault. We'll tell you about their efforts.
All that plus weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
We start our second half hour honoring the life of one of Syracuse University's most esteemed academic leaders. Lorraine Branham, Dean of the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications since 2008, passed away yesterday after a courageous and hard-fought battle with cancer.
Dean Branham was a working journalist for 25 years, holding position at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and the Baltimore Sun. She also directed the School of Journalism at the University of Texas at Austin before coming to Newhouse.
She was the first ever female or person of color to serve as Newhouse's dean, and under her leadership, our school flourished. Dean Branham led a nearly $20 million fundraising campaign for the renovation of Newhouse 2. She created the Newhouse Studio and Innovation Center and Center for Digital Media Entrepreneurship.
Dean Branham will be remembered as an icon in the media industry, a mentor, educator, and an inspiration, and of course, a friend. We thank her and admire her for all she's done for the students here at Syracuse University.
In other news this morning, the Department of Public Safety is stepping up efforts to make students feel safe late at night around campus.
Our Michelle Houston joins us live in the studio to tell us more.
Thank you so much, guys. After 8 o'clock each night, students can get a safety escort back to their dorm or apartment. Now, DPS will beef up that program with 2 more vans and 2 more drivers. Students are taking full advantage of this service.
Rita Cabas is a graduate student who finds herself walking home in the dark from school.
Because a lot of time I'll stay studying till like 1 or 2. And especially on those nights, I'd consider using it.
She says the escort program can come in handy for students with similar situations.
Because a lot of time I'll stay studying till like 1 or 2. And especially on those nights, I'd consider using it.
The escort program is broken into 2 parts. Chief Tony Callisto says one is the walking escort.
A student walking escort, student marshal program, primarily earlier dark hours on campus.
The other part provides students with transportation services. The Shuttle You Home is one where students can sign up in Watson Hall and get a ride in a van.
And it runs from Watson Hall to an off-campus area about a mile around campus where students live.
While the Shuttle 44 has certain stops in the area, and it takes place when buses are no longer running.
It makes the neighborhoods that they live in and rent in and have fun in safer neighborhoods.
Cabas says students should be aware of their surroundings.
Just make sure you tell someone that you're walking and just be safe, like be aware of your situation.
Now, if you're a professor or student and want to catch a ride, you can call 315-443-SAFE. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Houston for Mornings on the Hill.
Along with the new safety escort program, SU students can now download 2 contact cards with phone numbers and other information from DPS and support services.
It's part of a recent pledge by the administration to keep students connected at all times. One of the contact cards has safety and emergency phone numbers, while the other focuses on campus services, including the counseling center.
The cards will provide phone numbers, emails, websites, and detailed descriptions on all services. SU students can text SU SAFE to 44999, then follow the directions and download both cards on your mobile device.
We just saw some snow in that video from a few days ago, but
Yes.
it's a little warmer today. Time
It
for
is.
another check on your weather.
Abigail Friedman is live out on the University Avenue to show us what to expect.
Hey guys, I know I said earlier I was gonna ditch the jacket, but if we're being totally honest, that was a pretty bad idea on my part. If you're heading out the door right now, it might be wise to grab a jean jacket or a fleece. I've seen a lot of those. You don't necessarily need your parka, but at least something to cover your arms. You should, however, grab your sunglasses because it is a beautiful sunshiny day out here. Let's take a look at the week to see if that sunshine is going to stick around. Now today looks pretty good. Temperatures, those will be in the high 40s throughout the day. The low is around 30, but that won't really be until later tonight. 20% chance of rain, partly cloudy skies, making Wednesday not too shabby for April 3rd. Thursday, we're looking at a cooler but potentially sunnier day, lower 40s, but hey, look at that happy sunshine. And a 0% chance of rain. Perfect day to go for a jog or even walk the dog. Friday looks like rain for most of the day, mid 40s from the morning to the evening, but that weekend, woo, look at those temperatures. Mid 50s on Saturday, dare I say it, high 60s on Sunday. That is insane. Chance of rain on Sunday, so make sure to get outside and enjoy that warmer weather before the rain sets in. And we have a ton of fun activities here going on in Syracuse this weekend, so make sure you go out, enjoy that spring weather, go to those activities. Fernando Garcia-Franceschini will have all of those fun activities for the weekend coming up later on in the show. For right now, I'm very cold and outside, but it's beautiful and sunshiny. Abigail Friedman, Mornings on the Hill. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Abigail. And here's some good news for April. The Syracuse Common Council will pay for repairs to city sidewalks and add new bicycle lanes on University Hill.
The repairs of the sidewalk will focus on making these more accessible for people with disabilities.
SU student Aiden Kim is glad to hear about the new bike lanes and hopes it will make campus more bike friendly.
These new bike lanes coming around because as of right now, you know, it's kind of hard to get around campus on bike.
Kim says student bikers need wider lanes for safer rides to and from school. For sidewalk repairs, the city is focusing on areas that need handicap accessible corners and curbs.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and SU has activities scheduled all month to help educate and bring awareness.
The first event happened yesterday was Teal Tuesday.
This national movement encouraged everyone to wear teal like I am right now and the color of sexual assault survivors to show solidarity.
I do believe that there is an effort being put into making sure the students are aware and that we are more responsible to talk about what this means.
Take a look at the Hall of Languages. It lit up till as it was remain for the rest of the month. Other events throughout the month include panel discussions, guest speakers, videos, and trainings. For a complete list of activities, head over to healthpromotions.com, syracuse.com.
Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill, SU will soon have students for the new Student of Color Advisory Committee.
Also coming up, our Faith Kane explains how the female general manager for SU's men's basketball hopes to pave the way for women coaching males. Stay with us for those stories and much more here on Mornings on the Hill.
School is working to make the media industry more diverse.
One of those ways is the Race in Media Symposium that got underway last night.
NPR anchor and Newhouse alum Lakshmi Singh was the keynote speaker. She said newsrooms have gotten more diverse over the years, but the progress is painfully slow. Recent grads shared some of their newsroom experiences as people of color. Singh says that the biggest change comes when people take it upon themselves to understand someone's life experience.
But the fact that they keep trying means the world. And I'm not the only one who's noticed that. Other people have noticed that. So I noticed that change in groups of people who have actually continued to try. They started the conversation with acknowledging certain biases.
It's not too late to get involved in the conversation. There's a meet and greet with recent alumnus happening from 11 to noon this morning in the Newhouse.
SU is one step closer in setting up the new Student of Color Advisory Committee.
Yesterday was the last day for students to be nominated.
The committee will work with DPS on a range of safety initiatives, including how DPS takes action. The idea for this committee was discussed at February's student forum following the Ackerman Avenue assault.
DPS Chief Bobby Maladeno said the committee will help DPS collaborate with students in a more constructive way.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Daniel Booth. We're joined this morning by Director of the Newhouse Sports Media Center, Professor Olivia Stomsky. Professor Stomsky is helping bring awareness to the impact of brain injuries in sports and changing the way the media covers these traumatic injuries. Professor, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
You know, and last semester I was lucky enough to sit in on your presentation during Professor Park's class. For anybody who wasn't able to be there, can you go into a little bit of what the presentation was like?
Yeah, so the presentation goes through quite a few things. We show examples of ways that brain injuries have been covered live, correctly and incorrectly, right? We have a chance to discuss that with the group. We talk about terminology, we talk about the risks and the severity of these kind of injuries. And so we really walk the group through covering these injuries live, the terminology, and how to do so accurately.
You know, and naturally, this is a major operation we got going on here. So who else have you been working with?
Well, it's been about 1.5 years in the making. I was really started with Bob Costas. And as all of you know, that an alum that has really dedicated so much time to his career, but also the careers of the students here at Newhouse. So together we created a group, which is Bob Costas, Andrea Kramer, J.A. Adonde, who's my counterpart at Northwestern, and then Chris Nowinski at the Concussion Legacy Foundation. As a group, we worked really hard for months and months discussing, looking at examples, terminology, learning, researching. So it's quite the group, yeah.
You know, and why is it so important to change the culture around the different terms that are used, or just the way that play-by-play broadcasters, reporters, anchors, the way that they talk about brain injuries?
You know, one of the things, Daniel, that I say all the time in classes is, once you know something, you can't unknow it. And now that we have done so much research and we know the risks of brain injuries, we know the long-term effects it can have on athletes, it's our job to cover these situations accurately, right? Athletes' lives are important, and whether we as reporters and journalists realize it or not, our viewers are learning from us all the time. And we need to make sure that we take that opportunity to not only use the correct terminology, but also to bring awareness to what's happening. As a producer, I say all the time, don't speculate. We are not doctors, but we are journalists. It's our jobs to be accurate and to be sensitive to situations. And so it's time to change that culture, right? It's time to change the culture of saying dinged, right? Or, you know, he got his clock cleaned. This is not a time anymore where we watch shows, or should we be watching shows that are laughing and celebrating hits that could affect the lives of these athletes. There is nothing more important than your life. And you know, now that we know the risks, now that we know the terminology, we understand, it's our job to change that culture.
You know, and when people think about brain injuries as a whole, a lot of it has to do with football, or at least people perceive it that way. But there are so many different sports where brain injuries can occur, and a lot of it, you know, it gets overlooked. So in terms of what are the differences when you're spotting either a sign or a symptom of an injury on the field? Right,
well, signs are something that we can see. So as reporters, as play-by-play, as analysts, we can report on signs that we see and understanding what those signs could be, right? If an athlete is not getting up right away, right? If an athlete is holding his or her head, these are signs. A symptom is something that we can't see. It's something that can only be reported to us from the athlete themselves. So that may be headache, that may be sensitivity to light, right? That may be memory loss. So the signs and the symptoms are different, and we can only report on what we see because we don't want to speculate, right? And so that's the one thing to start on our reporting accurate.
Awesome. Well, Professor, thank you so much for being here. And I'm Daniel Booth from Mornings on the Hill.
Good morning, I'm Matt Liberman with sports. Katie Kalinske is one of just a few women to have had a coaching position under Jim Boeheim for Syracuse men's basketball program, and it helped land her a brand new job. Our Faith Kane is live in studio to tell us more.
Katie Kalinske was the first female graduate assistant for the SU men's basketball team. Now she's working for a career in coaching.
Playing sports all her life, Katie Kalinske always loved the competitiveness.
My first interest was football.
Going up against the guys, Katie went from a pigskin to a leather.
Started falling in love with basketball, and I grew up in Syracuse, so my family had season tickets to all the basketball games, so we would come up as a family for all their home games in the winter, cheer them on.
Growing up in the city of Syracuse, she attended the university and using her knowledge of basketball, becoming a men's basketball team manager.
I told the team, I just wanted to be able to help out any way possible. I didn't care if it was wiping floors or anything like that. So after I started to get involved with the men's team, they told me, normally women work on the women's side.
Working her way up through the ranks, she found herself as the only female on the sidelines, as the first female graduate assistant for Syracuse men's basketball.
I've never been the type to think I couldn't do something. It's all said and done. I realized that was actually kind of cool, to be able to be the first female, and hopefully to open doors for other females to do what they want to do.
Leaving Syracuse, Katie took on a new job working with the University of Buffalo as the Director of Basketball Operations for women's basketball, but never throws out the idea of working with the men.
The biggest thing is just, not giving up. If I really do want to go to the men's side, there's going to be opportunities. I just got to keep pursuing. There's going to be millions of people that tell you no. Millions of people say that I can't do it, but I know at the end of the day, if I put my mind to it and my heart into it, if you're good enough, you'll make it there. So you just got to be persistent, and that's what I'm going to do.
Counting it here, and I'm here. Even here, everything I want to be. Where it's possible.
Inspire and pave a way for other women who have the same dream of competing on the men's side of sports. I'm Faith Kane reporting live for Mornings on the Hill.
Thanks, Faith. Katie, truly a trailblazer in the Syracuse community. Switching gears now to SU men's lacrosse. SU headed west last night for a matchup with Hobart for the 34th annual Krause-Simmons Trophy. The Orange have won 30 of the first 33. Could they add another against a ranked Hobart team, this time 8 consecutive games against ranked opponents for Syracuse? That doesn't matter, though, as Stephen Rafis tickles the twine, put Syracuse up 1-0 after just 2 minutes, but Hobart would really make it a contest in the early going. Derek Madonna wide open from out. He goes top cheddar against Drake Porter as Hobart takes a 2-1 lead, but SU back on the other end. David Lipka right around the crease, and you're not going to stop him when he's that close. Syracuse goes up 5-3 in the second period, but the Statesmen would keep battling back. Eric Holden, 28 goals already this season, make it 29 as he puts it past Drake Porter. 5-5 with 7:44 left to go in the second period. And from there on, no Hobart, and all Syracuse's Stephen Rafis tacks on his second goal of the game. SU would score 12 goals in the final 35 minutes and hold Hobart scoreless. That's right, scoreless for the final 35 minutes. Jacob Buttermore adds a hat trick, as well as Bradley Voigt for Syracuse and Stephen Rafis, the high man in this one, with 5 points on the season. Syracuse wins 17-5, bringing home the Krause-Simmons Trophy again. And on the women's side, the Orange host their third-ranked opponent in 4 games as number 21 Virginia Tech comes to the Carrier Dome this evening. Syracuse is vaulted up to number 3 in the nation, coming off a win at number 12 Duke to cap off 6 straight wins. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, had been riding a 4-game win streak that included an overtime win over number 13 Denver until Wednesday, when the Hokies were decimated by North Carolina 19-5. Today's game gets going at 4 p.m. And on the softball field, Syracuse is headed north to Buffalo for a matchup with Canisius. After a rough start to the season, the Orange have gotten back on track with 5 wins in their last 6 games, including wins over Boston College and Notre Dame. For Canisius, well, there's always next year. The Golden Griffins are just 4-20 this season. First pitch set for 3 o'clock. And on the diamond, we inch one step closer to opening day for the Syracuse Mets, and with that, the Triple-A debut for Tim Tebow. Tomorrow's matchup with the Pawtucket Red Sox gets underway at 2:05 p.m. The first 2,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Syracuse Mets hat as the Mets look to pick up their first win since being purchased by the New York Mets this offseason. That's all we've got in sports. Gilot and Danielle, back to you. Still to come here on Mornings on the Hill, find out which 2 Newhouse students are running a successful business that creates content for big companies.
Welcome back. For some, an entrepreneurship class is just a way to fill a requirement.
But for 2 students here at Syracuse, it was the first step on the road to starting their own business. Kendra Sheehan joins us in the studio telling us more about their journey. Kendra?
There is a new videography and photography company making its name known among Syracuse media. Black Cub Productions is the company started by 2 students who wanted to pave a way in their community.
As a black man and as an African American in my community, I want us to own more things and to give back to our community with the jobs that we own. I mean, the businesses that we own and the jobs that we're able to give back to the communities.
For Miles Blake and Eric Jackson, the vision all began in the classroom.
Started off more as like, hey, we're getting money from this. I mean, it was very, very little money. And we're kind of good at this, so we was like, we should pursue this a little more. So that's why we joined the class. And then we made a business when we realized we were so far behind everyone else.
The 2 may have felt behind at the start, but mentor Elizabeth Karinga says their endless ambition is what pushes them ahead of the rest.
They don't stop, and they don't give up. They fight for everything, and they work really hard. I think that a lot of people work hard, and they put a lot of hours in, but I think Eric and Miles put more hours in.
In just 1 year, the 2 have already managed to work on projects for big names like LG and Netflix. Miles and Eric say their success has been in part due to the support from those surrounding them.
We've been lucky enough to have people to care about us, and we're in this pool of just all these different areas and people that we can pull from to guide us along the way.
But without that foundation from them, it would have been way more difficult to really get this going.
Their journey has sparked the interest of many other students looking to pursue their goals of running a business.
If there's something that you love doing, do it, go for it, because this is the time to do it.
With all the milestones they have reached so far, they still say their favorite part is getting the opportunity to do what they love every single day. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Kendra Sheehan.
I'm Fernando Garcia-Franceschini, and here's what's going on this weekend here on the Hill. If you're into jazz music, then tomorrow is your lucky day. At 12:30, meet with other music lovers at Byrd Library to hear and discuss the influence of female jazz musicians at the She Played It Like That event. And bingo on a Friday night? Sign me up. Orange After Dark is hosting a bingo night at Shine on Friday. And wait, it gets better. The winner gets a full bag of groceries. And you might be thinking, well, if they're giving up a free bag of groceries, then the entry must be expensive. But no, it's free. Just make sure to bring your SUID, and an advice between friends, don't be fashionably late because entry is on a first-come basis. At 11 at the HBC Gifford Auditorium, there will be a screening of the Sherlock Holmes movie Holmes and Watson. This as part of Orange After Dark late night movies. So bingo and a movie sounds like the most perfect Friday night ever. But wait, if you're too exhausted after bingo to watch a movie, then I got some exciting news for you. You can catch Holmes and Watson on Saturday night as well. Same place and same time. Or if you just love it so much that you want to watch it twice, then go right ahead. Also a little earlier on Saturday, Monster Jam is making its way to the Carrier Dome. Some of the best monster truck drivers will face off at 7 p.m. to make the finals in Las Vegas. Tickets start at $35. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Fernando Garcia-Franceschini. That's your Weekends on the Hill.
Thanks, Fernando. And that's going to do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Gilat Mohammed.
I'm Danielle Bullock. Thanks for watching, and we'll leave you with this morning. Another tribute to Dean Lauren Brenham.
Dean Branham passed away yesterday after a brave battle against cancer. She was the Newhouse Dean for 11 years, and we will miss her. Thank you, Dean Branham, for everything you did for us.